Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk About It Tuesday. I'm Tosca Di Matteo, founder of Tosca Coaching and Consulting, and I'm super excited to be here with you today to talk to Valerie Lyons about vacation as a way of life. I'm super thrilled to hear from this career healer, author, entrepreneur, friend, all of that. I think she's got like a really amazing perspective to share with us. So I'm excited for this conversation because like who doesn't want to live life like they're on vacation? You know, like who doesn't want to feel the vibes of vacation on a daily basis? So we're going to hear from her some tips on how to do that. So I'm just waiting for her to join live with us. There was a pause. Let's just make sure technology is working here. Hey, Michael, good to see you. I'm excited that you're here. I'm just waiting for my guest to arrive, Valerie. And we're going to talk about how to live life like you're on vacation. And like, Michael, I think like you are the epitome of that as well. So I'm just gonna like double check that tech is working and I'll be reconnecting. Okay, here we go. Hey Valerie, so excited you're here. I'm going to bring you on. Thanks guys for hanging in there. Hi.
Hey, made it.
You made it. Okay, it was just double checking technology is working. We got like Michael here who also has this philosophy of, I think, living life like you're on vacation. So I think we've got a good vibe going on already.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was just like, just starting to like introduce and say like what we're going to talk about today and
Sure.
and how I'm so excited that you're here and you bring such rich life experience to this conversation. And I just want to start by saying thank you so much for taking the time to come on this platform and share your story and your thoughts on this topic with the world.
Yes, it's great to be here. Thanks so much for the invitation.
Yeah, I'm excited. So, without further ado, I just want to pass it over to you for you to share who you are, like kind of a bit, whatever you want to share about your journey of like where you grew up or where you come from, and what brings you to this moment.
Yes, well, originally from Hollis, Queens, landed in Harlem where I currently reside. And I always have to start by saying I'm blessed. I'm really grateful for the life that I live and for the wonderful people who cross my path, who I interact with, who have supported me all through the years. And that is why I'm a self-proclaimed power networker. Yes, because
Yes.
networking has been has opened up so many doors for me and has allowed me to open up so many doors for others. And I really do get that we are on this planet to support each other. That's who I am. I'm someone who is really interested in people. I'm interested in knowing what you're up to. I'm interested in supporting you in any way I can. And because of that, I have been blessed and have been supported and loved and nurtured throughout my life. So, I work, I have a full-time gig at Hunter College. Shout out to Hunter, where I am the Assistant Director of Student Affairs. So I work with students, graduate students in the counseling program and undergraduate students. And I do a lot of leadership development with the undergrads and the grads on a student council, a group that I support. And I have my own business where I coach women in the 50-plus age range. And I'm all about supporting women as we go through the aging process and really committed to aging gratefully and supporting others with seeing the power that comes with aging.
Wow, yeah, like that, like I feel like I want to dive into all of that. There's so much richness in what you're passionate about and what you do. Um, and just to kind of go back to this concept of like really what I'm hearing is like being of service, like it's just part of who you are. It sounds like the fabric of how you've lived your life. Has it always been that way, or is that
Yes.
something that you discovered?
I've always been the person that people come to talk to share. I've always been a really good listener. I'm really learning how to listen to my own self. That's what's happened through the years. And more recently, I've become more attuned to my own listening for myself because
Mm-hmm.
I have a powerful listening of others. And that's something that I'm really standing inside of, being true to who I am, trusting my instinct, acknowledging the power that I have to create a life that I love. And so, yeah, I've always been someone who's cared about folks. And I really believe that being of service is what is core to being a human being. I believe that being of service is present for all of us in some capacity. And that's how one really taps into their purpose, passion. What is it that really makes your heart soar, makes you, happy, brings the joy in your life? That's what's up, being of service and also caring for yourself.
So yeah, and I'm curious, right? Because I think there are some people. Hey, Sarah from the Now, so glad you're here too. Um, I'm I'm curious, right? Like this, when we care for others, right? When we want to be of service, when we give in
Mm-hmm.
that way, we give our time and our energy. Um, and for you, like, how do you make sure that you're doing that from a place of abundance, from a place of like your cup is full? Like, have you had times in your life where you've gotten depleted from kind of living with that, like that key value?
Yes, yes. And let me tell you something. As as devastating and tragic as the pandemic has been, and we're still in it, hasn't that been an opportunity for us to stop, listen, and learn? And inside of being in this pause state of mind, and now we're re-entering, I'm really clear. That's where vacation as as a way of life sort of was born. Not for nothing. Because you know what? We weren't traveling. We
Mm-hmm.
weren't engaged in all the external activities that we were involved in. We had to slow our daggone roll. And when I went to I traveled to Florida back in June and had an amazing time and really got I really saw the blessing of travel, and I really got the importance of pausing, stopping, taking care of myself. And so yes, I that is something that I'm constantly really making a priority. And that's where vacation as a way of life comes into play. That reminds me, right? It's not just about going away, which is great, but now I'm planning to take time. I'm a baby boomer, a proud baby boomer. And baby boomers, for the most part, we were raised to work until you drop dead. You go in sick, taking a day off. What's that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now it's like I'm really looking at how can I enjoy each day? How can I carve out time in each day to feel good? I have these beautiful flowers. You can't see, but I'm going to put them up. Having flowers,
Ooh, I love that color.
brings me life. So that's vacation as a way of life. What are the things that bring you pleasure? Travel certainly is one. Flowers, once again, another. Wearing
Mm.
beautiful jewelry is another, is another.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, yes.
Things that,
Yes.
yeah, yes, things that bring you joy. And certainly being in empowering
Mm.
conversations is yet still another. And
Mm.
lastly, not lastly, but one other thing, not getting twisted over something stupid. Not
Mm.
getting upset. Not that I'm not getting upset, but not wasting my energy or spending my energy unnecessarily.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's so much in that just right there. One of the things that like stuck out for me, right? This idea of the stop and the pause, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is very difficult for a lot of people to just give themselves permission to do nothing, to actually pause and to stop. And I believe that, even in communities where like the grind is even harder, you know, whether you're like a person of color or, you know, somebody who like has fewer opportunities in the world. I think it gets even more difficult to give yourself permission to stop. And so was like, how did you come to that, to say, oh, like, was it hard for you, or was it like, oh no, no, this is what life is, you have to stop and pause? Like, was that embedded into you, or is that something that you kind of learned that you needed?
It's something I learned that I needed. And, you know, not everybody, I always start when people ask me to tell me a little bit about myself, I always start by saying I'm blessed, because I know that I'm blessed to be in a situation, in a place in my life where I can pause, where I can take a minute. Some people don't have a choice. You got to, you know, do what you got to do to make it work. You got to work, you know, everyone is at a different place in their lives. But I still believe the power of community is where it's at for all of us to get the support that we need. And so that is certainly something that I am a big proponent of, is creating a team, creating a support any way you can. And so that's certainly something. But I've had my bout with illnesses. And that is something to really have you sit down and take a look at how you're operating. You know, but I have a hard head, you know, so even through that, I had Graves' disease back in 1997. That was purely stress. You know, I was, you know, in my 30s or so. But anyway, life has a way of just reminding you, your body needs to rest. You know, you need to take more time for yourself. You can't, if you push, you're going to pay a price one way or another. And so, again, I think with the pandemic, I'm really, you know what, as we re-enter, I'm not forgetting what I learned. And that is something that has really been, I've been holding on to that. What were the lessons and the blessings that came out of the pandemic? As horrible as it has been for many, lost job, lost life, I'm not trying to minimize that at all. But I certainly have learned that my life is more important than anything, and that a job is a priority, not the priority. That I learned, that I got.
Talk to me more about that detaching from it being the priority. Like, how did that happen for you?
Well, again, it's really looking at having a moment to take a look at what's most important. I love my work. I love my job at Hunter. I love my business. Yes. And I've seen over time how I put work in front of my own self-care. You know, I wrote a book. I didn't mention this. I wrote a book called Power Networking from the Inside Out, where your career and your well-being meet. Right? Because I've always been career-driven. Now I'm life-driven. You know, so I think everyone goes through their own process. This has been my process. And the pandemic has had a huge impact on the way that I think about my life, how I interact with others, and my priorities.
And so what, like, if I can dig deeper into that, like, what about that has shifted for you? Like, how you interact, like the choices that you make now versus like pre-pandemic?
Well, pre-pandemic, again, I would not necessarily look at ways in which I could slow down. The vacation was a luxury, and vacation is a luxury, but I really let me share this. I live in Harlem. Shout out to the Harlemites. I live in Harlem. Central Park is really in my backyard. It's a walk from where I am. It's a distance, a couple of miles. But the Central Park is what saved me, is one of my lifelines in the pandemic, right? So I really got self-care. That was like, I yearned to go to Central Park, and I still do, because it really helped to keep me grounded. It brought peace and joy inside a time when things were really unpredictable and frightening. Central Park was calming and soothing. So I continue to look at the things that really help keep me even and keep me centered and keep me grounded. And you can find that in so many things. And it's the small things and it's the big things. I also have been reading more than I ever did. I mean, as much as I am a teacher, trainer, educator, I did not pick up a book and read it in its entirety in like 3 or 4 years. The pandemic had me reading And I've been reading. And I have an accountability partner. And what we do is we've committed to reading 5 pages a day. Sometimes we read more, and we text each other when it's complete. That has helped me go through a number of amazing books. You know, so again, finding the things that bring me joy, and reading really does make a difference for me. And I've really seen the benefit of taking that on during this time.
Well, can I ask what you're reading right now?
I am reading The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. And I'm also reading Unchained, which is amazing. So The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity is an amazing book. The woman is a Christian, and the book can be anyone, whatever belief system you have, even if you don't practice any particular religion. What she shares is really, really powerful. And I've really gotten a lot from that. And I am leading a 21-day affirmation challenge. And that has been amazing. Because in the book...
Wow, when did that start? That started this month, right?
That started this month, October 1. And so this is how I am. In the book, the woman talks about affirmations. And to be honest, I never really got into affirmations on a consistent basis. Let me tell you, affirmations work. Do it. Whoever's listening, please. They make a difference. There's so much going on in our head that reading a positive affirmation every day, it just rewires your brain. So I'm leading this 20, in the book, the author talks about doing a 21 affirmation. So of course I said, okay, I'm going to lead a 21 day affirmation. And that has been amazing. So these are the things, again, being in reading empowering material, being engaged in empowering exercises really have me feeling on top of the world. And I'm going to shout out to Harlem Bloke. I see used to live on 116th and Lenox. Yes. 132nd. Yes. Yes. So yeah, these are things, you know what? It's being intentional. That's the thing that's also shifted with me. It's not an afterthought that I'm going to take time. It's not like, okay, if I have a vacation scheduled, I'm going to take time. No, I'm going to plan how I'm taking time for myself, you know, and really, and I'm like, as I look at the calendar at Hunter to schedule time when I'm going to take a day here or a day there, long weekend, I see other people are doing it. That's what other people do. It's not a new concept for many. It's a new concept for me.
Yeah, and you know, so I'm curious, like, because I know that this is kind of a new mindset for you, right? And like how that comes to life in a number of different ways. And I'm also curious, like, is it possible to have this mindset about vacation as a way of life if you're really feeling like in a low place? Whether it's at work or at home, because you're a career healer too, right? So like,
yes,
what do you got to do? Because I think it just feels like a big leap to go from I'm miserable in my job to like I'm gonna live life as I'm on vacation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. You know, this is the thing, and this is it's a process. Look, joy and happiness are 2 different things. Let me just say that. Joy and happiness are 2 different things. Happiness is often something that is external, that happens external, that it has an impact on you. I'm going through something right now I'm not happy about. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going through a little situation, you know, with my partner. I'm not really happy about it. But guess what? I'm joyful. I'm joyful because I'm choosing joy. I am choosing joy. So that's me. Everyone, again, I can't tell you how to find it. I can only tell you that it's possible. I can tell you it's a choice, but I can't make that happen for you. I choose it. I choose it because I want to live inside of a joy-driven life. And that's the platform. And see, this is the other thing. This is the work I do with women, right? In the 50-plus age range. My platform is creating your joy-driven life. And daggone it, I'm committed to doing it for myself. I can't do this work. So it doesn't mean that I'm always clicking my heels and I'm, you know, happy all the time. No, that's not it. but I have a sense of joy. I have a sense of peace. I have a sense of knowing who I am, knowing my authentic self. I know that I'm loved and cherished. You know, I know this. And so with that, there's a sense of joy, there's a sense of peace, there's a sense of knowing who I am in the world and the impact I have on the world. And that brings me joy to know that I'm on this earth, serving a purpose, living my passion, and doing it well.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's funny because I have to say, I literally was talking to my therapist today, and I was just like, you know, I'm I'm not happy. I'm not like satisfied with like where I am, right? And
Right.
she was like, well, that's kind of like being human. Like we're always like kind of wanting more. And I'm curious what you think about this because I think there's this, how can we be content and find joy with where we are regardless of if we still want more for ourselves? Like how do those things play together where you can actually enjoy the moment versus feeling like I still want this, I still want that, I'm looking for this, you
You,
know?
well, let me tell you, I really, who was doing this challenge, this abundance challenge? Deepak
Oh,
Chopra.
was it Alicia Keys and Chopra?
Chopra. Well, he does that with, I think with Oprah. He might have done it with Alicia, but this is one of
Okay.
the things I got from that challenge.
Mm.
Abundance starts where you're at. It starts within. It
Mm.
starts right within your reach. It's not out there. So this idea of
Mm.
abundance, right? Looking at, I mean, again, the clothes. I mean, I looked in my closet. I'm like, how many pairs of shoes do I have? How many outfits do I have? You know, the fact that I'm living in Harlem, that I have a lovely apartment,
Mm.
the abundance, like we forget what we already have. And it's like
Mm.
acknowledging
Mm.
the amazing people in my life. How we met. I mean, we met we have an amazing mutual friend that we met. The network of
Yeah.
people, my colleagues at
Mm.
Hunter who are, I mean, what do I want? Right? What do I really want? I want peace of mind. I want joy. I want good health. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want because everything else will come out of that. I want to
Mm.
feel like I got my head on straight, like my health is intact, like I'm a vibrant human being, like I attract all that I want. And I believe
Mm.
that. One of my affirmations is I manifest all of my heart's desire.
Mm.
And I believe that. And I say that with all humility. But I believe it. I know how powerful our word is. And so I say that.
And so how do you get to have, again, I just have to go back to like, were you ever in a state where like you didn't believe that? Like how, like, you know what
I
I
went,
mean?
look, yeah, look, I wasn't, look, I was born grew up in Hollis. I had to talk about this. I had a thing about a dark skinned, skinny, flat chested with a lazy eye. I was teased
Mm.
unmercifully as a child. Always had a group of friends, but I always wanted to be somebody else. I wanted to be lighter.
Mm.
I wanted to have bigger breasts. I wanted to have thicker thighs. Back in the day, thick was in, and thick is in
Mm.
now too. But it's a different world. But the bottom line is, I went through a lot as a child. I kind of came into my own. As I got older, I was hanging out, doing drugs. I was
Mm.
promiscuous because I didn't know how to say no, not because I wanted sex. I went through a lot. I was married for 20 some odd years to an amazing, amazing man. It didn't work out. It got dark at the end. I did not know how this thing was going to move forward. Ended up separating. And every day when I was going through that dark period, I got on my knees and I was like, God help me. God help me. God help me. I thought that was a plea.
Mm.
It was a prayer.
Mm.
And this was a lovely man, but things just didn't go well and ended up at 58 years old, separating, starting my life again, scared, not knowing how that was going to happen, but knowing that it was going to be better than what it had been. right? Which is how I ended up in Harlem. I've gone through it. I've had my share, and yet I've always been able to find peace somehow, whether it was the Unity Church or programs like Landmark and Momentum, where I met amazing people and had me shift my thinking about my life, or had me looking at my life fully for the first time in my life, in my late 50s, right? So, yeah, I mean, I've been blessed to just meet the right people at the right time, to be exposed to the right information, the empowering information, the messages that have really carried me. That's why I started by saying I'm blessed, because I know that I've been carried. I'm being carried through this life of mine. And I believe in angels. I do believe in angels and ancestors and all of that who are at work to support us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think thank you for sharing that, because I
Sure.
feel like you're such a light, you're such a positive force, right? And like these deeply embedded, like you embody these beliefs, and it's easy to see it's real for you, right? It's not like lip service. It's not like a passing Instagram meme, it's like, oh yeah, Valerie like knows this to be true. Like this is truth,
Yes,
and
yes.
and so I appreciate you sharing what you come from, because I think it's easy for people to like just say, well, like that's just not like that's not where I'm at, but we all come from somewhere where that's not where we were at.
Yes, yes. And I have to say too, I've always been a seeker. And I know there's a lot of us out here always seeking peace, always seeking some type of space where there's love and comfort and joy. I've always been a seeker. So yeah, so you find what you seek. You find what you seek. And I continue to seek a loving, supportive, grounded, joyful life.
So now, that you have a career, you also are an entrepreneur, you're an author, and I know that you want to help women in aging, what did you say, aging gratefully.
Yes.
And how, this purpose of yours, it sounds like you have a lot of callings, and you take action on what you feel pulled to do. And what is this about for you in this moment, this helping people age gratefully?
Well, here I am at 60, so
Which I can't even believe it, because you're looking fabulous.
Thank you, dear. And I feel fabulous. So yeah, so as I'm aging, I'm taking note on some of the changes that are occurring in my body. My memory is not the sharpest as it used to be. I'm relying on other ways to keep my memory going. I still feel vibrant, alive. I'm still making a contribution, to the world. So this idea of when you get to a certain point of your life, it's over. I don't believe that. I believe there's always a new chapter. There's always an opportunity. Hey, Willa, there's always that. There's always an opportunity to shift. You don't have to work harder, but just do work differently or live differently. There's always an opportunity to create a possibility in your life. So I even forgot the question, but
yeah, no, it was just about what aging gratefully means. Why is this important to you? And,
aging gratefully means that we're alive, that we're vibrant, we still have dreams, we still have desire, we're still sexual. There's we still want love, we still want to be loved, and that's real. And why not go for it? Why not be bold and go for what you want?
And I think that this, you talk about 50 plus, being kind of who you really want to serve. And I think that there's such a focus on the youth, right? And like it's almost like by the time you're 30, like society tells you, like if you haven't done the things, like, you know, forget about it. You have so much, you know, like the 30 under 30 or the 40 under 40. And I feel like there's these messages that we receive that's like, you know, oh, call it a day. You know, you've passed that point, and it's like it's all bullshit. It's not true, you know, and it's just limiting beliefs about what's possible at any age, you know. And I'm wondering if that's part of your experience. Like, do you feel like you've had to break through, like, you know, what messages you've received, whether, you know, through friends, family, through society, about like what's possible as we get older? Like, is that part of your journey?
Right. Well, I'll tell you, my community, again, I'll tell you I'm blessed. I grew up in a home with folks, my grandparents, my mom, my aunt, who just lived life fully. We love to laugh. And that is something, that laughing spirit, that joyful spirit stays with me. The messages in our world, you know, this is what I say. This is what I say. And hear me for this, you know, racism, ageism, sexism exist. And that has nothing to do with me. Meaning, I know that it exists. It's real. It's real. We got these structures that are set up to hold us back. I get it. But I'm not owning it. Yours truly is not owning it. So I'm going to go for what I want. I don't care if, you know, ageism is in the world. That has nothing to do with me. I'm still going to go for it. I'm still going to go for the relationship that I want. One of my dreams is when I leave Hunter, I got a 5 to 7 year plan, which I talk to folks in Hunter about. My 5 to 7 year plan is I'm selling all my stuff or giving it away, and I'm going to travel for a year. That's my dream. You could still have dreams and desires. So it's like the college kids, you know, before you graduate high school, before you go to college, you travel for a year, or before you start a job, you know, you graduate from college, you travel for a year. I'm doing it on the back end. I'm going to do that on the back end. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a lot of messages. That's why, as I mentioned earlier, the affirmations make a difference, because it has to counter all of these messages. I talk to young people, sure, 20-something, 30-something, they think life is over. So you get it throughout your whole life. You know, at 20-something, you're supposed to what? Get a good job, get married, have a kid. All of these messages that are not necessarily for you. They're not necessarily for you. You know, live your life. Live your life. Be free. Make up your own rules. How about that?
Yes. Make up your own rules. That's what I'm talking about, Valerie. Yes.
Yes. They're all made up anyway. They're all made up anyway. Make your own rules up.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what are the rules that you live by? Like, what's your, you know, I mean, you talked about living a life of service, but like, yeah, like what are the new rules that you've created that maybe push against the status quo?
Well, I think it's, you know, being open. You know, like we talked earlier about, you know, there's nothing that you have to do at a certain age. You know, it's open, you know, so that, again, creating a life you love. How about that? That, you know, there's a message that, you know, one has to, you know, find a job and stay with that job until they drop dead, or, you know, the idea of shifting and changing. You know, life is fluid. Finding your purpose, passion comes out of doing a whole lot of things. You know what I mean? So I think I'm living a life that I'm creating. And I create it as I go along. So I don't know what the future's going to hold. I have this vision of the 5 to 7 year plan, selling my stuff and traveling, but I don't know where I'm going. I know I have people that live in different parts of the world and the country. I'll check them out. But this whole thing about having to have a plan, how about that as a message? You have to have a plan. I think what I live by is you have to have a vision. You have to have a mission. And you don't have to have, by the way, anything. It makes a difference. It makes a difference to have a mission. It makes a difference for me to have a vision. It makes a difference for me to engage in these kinds of conversations, because out of that comes creation. You know, things I didn't think about. Oh, maybe I'll try this. You know, I told you, I'm reading the book about affirmations. I never did them before. I created a group. That wasn't a plan. That was just something that I was inspired to do. So I live a life that is grounded in inspiration and intuition.
Mm. Mm. You know, and I think it's just this this way that I think so many people live, which is like forcing the doing, right? We jump right to the how. Like let me just do. And I feel like what you're saying is you focus on the what and you kind of surrender to what unfolds after that. Am I capturing that right? Or
Yeah, well, it's funny because in the book that I'm reading, I mentioned earlier, the
mm,
four spiritual laws of prosperity. She talks about, the author talks about your divine purpose. And your divine purpose is not a goal.
mm,
Your divine purpose is a way of being. It's your mission. It's your vision. That's your divine. And you get to your divine, you are able to create or be your divine purpose through doing things, doing different things. But your divine purpose is a way of being.
mm,
So my divine purpose is being of service. It's being a supporter. It's being a networker. It's being a person of possibility. And I'm here to serve. I'm here to support. I'm here to pull people together. I'm here to love, to love on you and to love on others, to love on myself. I know that's my purpose.
mm.
And I'm clear about it, and it manifests itself in different ways.
And I'm curious, do you have like what's the relationship between that, like who you want to be, and like also like what you want to achieve and the results and you know, therefore whether the result is like I want to know that when I connected to people, like there was magic that was created or whatever that is. Like, is that part of it for you? Like the other side of the equation, right? Which is like, is being that way to what end? Like, does that play a role for you?
Listen, okay, so there's two things. One is I'm being that way with no attachments. That's number one. So the result of it doesn't mean as much to me as being that person that gives and supports, right? And I am definitely committed to getting results in my life. I want to be able to, here I am at 60. So, I'm really committed to making sure that I'm taken care of. Once I leave Hunter College, my business is my retirement plan. You know what I mean? So I'm taking care of business. I'm in action. Not for nothing. Yeah, I'm in action to make sure I'm taken care of. I created a career that I love by, I went back to school, got my master's, went on to get certain certifications. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, certified rehab counselor, certified professional coach. I believe in taking action in order to secure, to ensure that I'm taken care of. I'm definitely into results, but I'm not attached to results.
I'm just like, yeah. All of you watching now and later, let that sink in. That concept, right? Because we talk about it, and really, embodying that is it's one thing to say it, I'm unattached. It's another thing to really believe that that what is for your highest good will happen, and so therefore I will be unattached to what I think is in my highest good, because who knows?
Yes, I have one of the posts I have my bathroom right now is let God lead you. So let God, let spirit, let universe, let God lead you, right? That's one. And then I also wanted to say something a coach supported me with or taught me many years ago. She helped me to acknowledge the difference between an accomplishment and a result. This thing blew my mind and has made a difference in my life. Oftentimes when we go for something, right, we look at the outcome, the result. Did we get what we wanted, right? And that is how we measure our success. But we forget all of the steps that we took along the way. We might not have gotten the result, But we put ourselves out there. We made attempts. We made an effort. We took certain actions that we wouldn't have necessarily taken, right? So we want to make sure that we don't forget that when we go after something and we take those steps, that there's accomplishments along the way. And that if we get the result, that's amazing. But don't minimize the accomplishments along the way. And that definitely has made a difference in my life.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So just like circling back to, right, like living life like you're on vacation, because in a way, I'm kind of seeing these dots connect, because on vacation, you just want to have a good time, right? Like there isn't necessarily a, you may have like I want to do this and I want to do that. But at the end of the day, like if you didn't get to go to that museum or you didn't get to do that thing, like as long as you were like enjoying yourself, right? You're not hard on yourself on vacation and be like, oh crap, I didn't do all that, right? Like, so it's interesting, right? Like that mindset of like just being in the moment and, being who you want to be and allowing that to be enough in a way,
Yes. Just appreciating the fact that you could afford to go on vacation, appreciating what the environment looks like, that it's a whole different scene, it's a whole different landscape. It's different than what you had been, what you have at home, the contrast. I know the last time when I did travel to Fort Lauderdale, I said, you know what, I'm taking a limo. I'm going, and so I got a car service. I had a beautiful luxury car take me to the airport, coming back to drop my friend. I went with my dear friend Vanessa, drop my friend off, drop me back. And that's how I'm living. I'm tired of lugging and sweating and carrying on when I'm traveling. You know what I mean? I've never flown first. I've never flown first class. My next trip, I will fly first class just because I've never done it. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm living.
Yeah.
I want to do the things that I've never done, and I want to put some luxury up in here. I've worked hard all my life, and I've spent money sometimes on things that were not necessarily that great or important. So now I'm being intentional, and part of my life and vacation as a way of life and aging gracefully is I'm treating myself. I'm treating myself. Yes, I am.
I love that because I think sometimes what we do, right, is we accomplish something or we get the result that we wanted, and then we give ourselves permission to celebrate, as opposed to how do I put myself in the situations that I want to manifest and bring more of into my life, bring more luxury, bring more whatever.
Yeah, and luxury, I want to say, and I hear you, Karen, flying to business coach to England next week.
Yes.
My brother relocated to England. Good for you. Luxury doesn't have to mean spending a lot of money, by the way. I just want to add that. Luxury does not have to. And if you can, yes, I will spend a little extra just to be comfortable.
Yeah.
How about that? I want to be comfortable.
Yeah, like I like, just to brainstorm here, like luxury might be spraying lavender on your pillow before you go to sleep. It might be spraying yourself with perfume before, like it's.
Can I show my flowers again? Can I show my
yes,
flowers
please.
again?
Yes, like always love flowers.
Luxury.
Yeah.
This is just in brainstorming. Yeah, luxury.
Yeah, it's almost like where are we denying ourselves and paying attention to those things that we don't even realize that we had a desire, but then we squashed it, like sometimes immediately.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Buying a book feels luxurious to me as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
What a great example, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, for those who are on, like if you have a question for Valerie, by all means, take advantage of this opportunity. We've covered a lot of ground. We're talking about aging gratefully. We're talking about, vacation is a way of life. What, Valerie, like what else is it that you also want to share with the audience around how they can live their best life and adopt these, ways of thinking and living?
Yes. Well, a post that I shared recently, which is again something that I'm taking on, is let your mental health, your spiritual health, and your physical health lead you. That is also something that I'm taking on. I mentioned earlier I had to post, let God lead you. So it's really looking at how we can shift our priorities. If we allow our mental health, our physical health, and our spiritual health to lead us, look and see what shows up inside of that. We definitely slow down. We definitely say no. I plan to get back into an exercise regimen, and I reached out to a woman that I know that trains women in their 50s, and I'm going to connect with her. And doing a little something every day. How about this? Take 5 minutes out of each day. We could all do this. 5 minutes out of each day, and just do something. Whether it's you get up, because working at home, I'm working hybrid, but standing up and stretching and rolling your neck around and your shoulders, just rolling your shoulders, isn't that something? Just taking a minute just to do that.
Yeah.
Just take some time out of each day to do something for yourself. So that's something that I'm definitely holding as a framework for my life. Allowing. And that just allowing is another concept. Just allowing, not trying to force, not trying to fix, not trying to make something happen, just allowing. Let your body just allow your physical, your mental, and your spiritual, just allowing that self to come through, to focus on that.
Yeah. That concept, allowing, is just it's so big right there, right? Like, and I think it's so foreign to so many people because I think it's indoctrinated into us that the doing is what gives us the outcome that we want, as opposed to the allowing and letting ourselves attract what it is we're looking for.
Listen,
we
get tired.
Yeah.
The doing, we get tired of doing.
Yeah.
It's the being. It's the being, human being. It's being. Remember that we're a human being. Give yourself a break. Another thing, the idea of self-care is self-love. Self-love is self-care. Karen says, my challenge is looking to where I want to be location-wise in middle age. Yeah. And that's your exploration. New York City can be tiring. It really can take a lot. I love New York and I love traveling. And that's why Central Park has been so amazing, because you leave the city, you feel like you're in another place in time. Yeah, but finding people, identifying. I know I have a sister who plans to relocate to Italy, and she's working with a coach that works specifically with people who want to leave the country. So Karen, finding people that can support you and understanding how to relocate, getting support is key. I'll just say that. There's a coach for everything.
Oh yeah, let me get that coach, because Italy, here I come. Let's do that. And it makes me think of, I had a woman on a few weeks ago, Randy Levin, and she's middle age, and she was spending some time Arizona, I think, to just get a feel for it, right? So also taking little steps to how do you give yourself the permission to explore, I think, and also to know what it feels like to be in that space that you think you might want to be. Yeah, even if it's Italy, because I think it's okay, I've been to Italy before, but have I been to Italy? I really try to think about what would it be like to live here? What, I allowing myself to dream of that possibility. We don't often do that when we're just in vacation mode versus intention setting. Hey, I'm going to visit this town to see if this is a place for me, Yeah,
and there's so much. I want to give a shout out to Gloria. I see somebody I know who's on. Shout out to you, Gloria. It starts with even now we can do so many things virtually. You can visit other places virtually. You can just pick up books or magazines or about the place. It's really just starting that first step. And like you said, the whole idea of being intentional, you know, like I say this is what I want. I'm declaring it to the universe. I'm telling folks, so I'm putting myself out there, right? And it's magical too.
Yeah.
When you start to just share, I'm a big proponent of sharing. Some people feel reluctant to share because they don't trust, or they feel that people are not going to get them. You know what I say? I don't care. I don't care if you get me or not. How about that?
Yes. Yes.
How about you don't have to? How about you don't have to? The whole act of just sharing and letting people, putting your thoughts out into the universe, I believe that things start to move, things start to shift, you know? So it's like really giving up that people have to validate it, you know, make it right, make it wrong. I'm not concerned about all that. I'm concerned with being clear on what it is that I want and sharing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so, and I think it can be such a vulnerable thing to like, even, I think there's that journey of like honoring like what you desire and then being vulnerable to share your desire, you know. But I think you're right. Like, I think there's a lot of energy that gets released even in the sharing. And oh, by the way, right? Like talking about power networking, right? Like when other people know what it is you want, then it's possible for them to realize there might be a connection they have, you know?
Exactly. Like I think and I see what you say, Willa. Other people's opinion is not my business. Absolutely. I think, for me, it really started something I shared earlier. I believe that we are on this planet to support each other. I have that belief. Now, does that mean that I think that everybody wants to support me or that everybody will support me? No, I don't believe that everybody will, but I believe that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
So that's my expectation. Whether it happens or not is neither here nor there for me. I come with an expectation that we're on the planet to support one another. I'm down and game to do that. Are you? And then we see what we can do. But I think most people want to be connected. They want to feel connection. They want to feel supported. They want to feel acknowledged. That's what I'm here to do. That's who I am.
Oh, I love it. That's why I love that you're on the show and sharing these beautiful messages. So much wisdom in everything that you shared and life experience that allowed you to kind of get to this beautiful place, and helping others to do the same, to get to this place where, you know, just blessings, just starting with blessings, right?
Yeah, but I want you to know, Tosca, that just being in this conversation with you supports me. Because it's a conversation of empowerment and love. So it has me it fills me with that joy because I'm talking about it and I'm sharing about it and you're feeling it and we're connected. And for me, that's joyful. And so, you know, there you have it.
Oh man, well, thank you. I agree. Like, this conversation is definitely filling me up. And I also want to ask, like, what can our viewers do to support you? Like, what is it you're needing, or how can people get in touch with you if they're like, yeah, I need some of that mojo in my life.
Yes.
Give me Valerie, like, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Well, certainly, I have a website, Valerie J. Lyons Enterprises. You can check me out on my website. You can buy my book, which is Power Networking from the Inside Out, where your career and your well-being meet. It's on Amazon, but you can also purchase it through my website. And if you purchase it through my website, I'll give you a signed copy. Again, I coach women in the 50-plus age range. So if you know of women or you're a woman 50-plus and you feel stopped in any way, feel free to reach out to me. I'll offer a discovery session. You can reach out to me on Instagram here and send me a message if you like, at Val J. Lyons. So that's how people can reach me. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. You can find me. If you want me, you can find me.
Amazing. Yes. And I know you talked about your 5 to 7 year plan, but also, like, what are you looking for? Like, what opportunities are you looking for? Like, maybe like putting that out into the universe and speaking that desire. I'd love to hear what you're looking for these days.
Well, right now, as I said, you know, I have the coaching practice, so I'm looking at expanding that. I'm going to be looking at creating a group coaching practice next year. I'm also doing a series of interviews called Joyful Conversations with Val. So I'll be posting about that. So people can support me that way as well. And I didn't mention this. I also facilitate personal and professional development workshops. So,
of course you do. Of course you do. We'll just add that to the list.
Yes, we'll add that. So, I mean, I'm available. I facilitate. Go to my website and feel free to reach out to me. I'm just open to chat and to connect if folks desire.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. And any other way that I can support you, please let me know. I love what you stand for, the messages that you share and what you do. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. And I'm just so glad that you're now in my orbit. I feel honored and blessed.
Yes. Thank you. Same here, honey. Thank you for the opportunity. This is my first Instagram Live interview.
Yay! And many more.
So that was the first. And many more. Yeah. Thank you, Tasha.
Yes, I'm happy to pop that IG cherry.
Yes, it's done. Done and done.
Done and done it. All right. Well, I hope you celebrate your inaugural IG Live, and I'm definitely celebrating the opportunity to have this conversation. And I just want to thank everybody who showed up live and after the fact. Love to hear from you and what resonated from this conversation, what you're taking away.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. And I will see you on the flip side, my friend.
Okay, doc, honey. Bye.
All right. Bye. Ciao for now.
Bye.